ওকে গাইস, আমাদের কিন্তু পিএমজিসি অলরেডি শুরু হয়ে গেছে। আমাদের লেট হয়ে গেছে স্ট্রিমে আসতে কাজের ব্যস্ততায়। এখন সম্ভবত ম্যাচ নাম্বার 4 চলতে আছে। আজকে হয়তো সারাদিনে ম্যাচ 5 পর্যন্ত যাবে বা 6 পর্যন্ত এরকম। সো দেখা যাক আমাদের কি চলতে আছে ম্যাচে ভাই। আপাতত 4টা লাস্ট স্কোয়াডের মধ্যে ফাইট হইতে আছে।
Thunder Talk maybe
সো
able to
কারা
take this
কোথা
one
থেকে
away.
দেখছো একটু
Good
কমেন্টে
God,
জানাই
this is
দিও।
getting
সবাই একটু
crazy now. I
কমেন্টে
mean, it was
তাড়াতাড়ি
crazy
জানাই
before,
দিও,
but what? My God,
তাহলে
what a
একটু
close
আমাদের জন্য
down.
সুবিধা হবে আর কি।
Over the top towards the top side of the bunker there. There's a little bit of chip damage, but not quite enough. Walls are now out, so the bunker is completely clean. Singh moves around the side where the blue is pushing. Tulika has to wrap around the eastern side of the bunker, but Levi's is there getting up towards the top two potentially if he can just take Tulika out. But Sighting is on the hunt.
And they will be able to find him now. The last player for the Mad Bulls is there, and Thunder Talk want that top spot for themselves. They crest the ridgeline and they contest that first place towards the end of the day.
I think that's as dominant as we've seen China in quite a long time, honestly. I think for Thunder Talks, they have looked really good today. I'm extremely proud of this team. I think the combination play has been fantastic. The teamwork has been fantastic. Overall showing has been really good to see. Same with the Mad Bulls. Honestly, though, I think that they look dismayed here, but this is the best Mad Bulls have looked in many years.
It is great to see a lot of teams coming back off of an off season, off of an off period of time. It is great to see this resurgence across the board. We are going to be heading over to the analyst desk now to figure out just what happened at the end of that one.
সবাই লাইভে সাপোর্ট করো নিজের ফেভারিট টিমকে।
Thunder Talk, huge right here.
One elimination. They did it very precisely there. And for a second, I thought we were going to see a little bit of a symbiotic relationship right there, right? With, we had, what was it, Mad Bulls? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm sorry, my brain just went crazy right there. But we saw a crazy symbiotic relationship, and we just Thunder Talk come up and get the chicken dinner right here. They landed into a great rotation. Ventura, what do you think about Thunder Talk?
Thunder Talk, they're timing to perfection in this game. Am I right? I mean, I think it was really nicely done in terms of like had a few teams remaining. We had globals over in that shelter area, but what to me is the difference in their attack. You know, Mad Bulls pushed a little bit too early. Wolves ended up pushing a little too early on Mad Bulls, so they were fighting. And then
নিজের ফেভারিট টিমকে সাপোর্ট করো গাইস। আমরা এখানে ম্যাচ দেখতে আসছি যে একটা শেষ হয়ে গেছে, ম্যাচ নাম্বার 5 কিন্তু এরপর হবে। ওকে,
You can look at this replay here for the final blow of this final rank day 1 for Pmgc Gauntlet, and yeah, as you said here, the timing they've really perfect. It was beautiful to see how it was played. Clearly, step between Wolves and having that fight happen way too early. Then talk to from the eastern side over to the southern western edge, taking a high ground position, and as you hear, finding that final player of Levi's, and of course, Tulika, and get the easiest win here. 18 elimination chicken dinner here, Hot Juice. An absolute banger from the PL team that I had some mixed feelings about this team entering in this tournament, and oh my goodness, these damage and elim stats for all of these players are through the bloody roof. Hell yeah, more of that, please.
Absolutely insane. Yeah, you know what's so crazy? I was a little surprised we saw Matt, start throwing those nades down that walkway right there onto Baton, because all they had to do was stay on top of the hill, let the wolves be down there for a little bit of wild shelter, and then once everybody was gone, fight each other for first and second.
ভাই এফএফ বেস্ট ভাই গেম, সবগুলো গেমই সেরা ভাই, কোনো গেম আসলে কমই না। আর যেটার দিক দিয়ে সেরা, মানে এরকম একটা পর্যায়ে আর কি, সবকিছুর দিক দিয়ে সেরা। এফএফও বেস্ট, পাবজিও বেস্ট, আমাদের অন্যান্য গেম ফারলাইট 84, তারপর আমাদের আরো অন্যান্য গেম সবগুলাই বেস্ট আর কি।
good win, but it's those things where it was based on the mistakes of the others, right? And that's not to downplay Undertalk at all, but you
ওকে, সো সবাই
we just had a
যে গেমই
little
পছন্দ
few
করে
little
সবগুলো
mistakes
দেখো।
coming on through there and back and forth. But I want to say that they're coming through. We were all surprised that they had 17 eliminations, but focused on other teams while we're sitting in that compound, just chilling, moves away from the, Nox on rotation, just made sure that they controlled the space around them. But they were able to get such a big win coming off the back of that. It's just really, really nice to see, Michael.
Yeah, I'm really happy about it. And I think a lot of people might have included looking at the PL teams, VIVO were going to be the banner men of that entire region like that. But no, Thunderstorm, I kept calling is BMW was a very passive team, just unwilling to commit to my try and wrap up the game with a ton of eliminations. This is the change-up we needed to see from Thunderstorm, and you know what? It is going to do it him first today on the play, because again, the performance like this, the elimination chicken dinner, chances are you're going to be looking towards.
Oh, they're going to jump up big time. You know, we're making the changes, right? Just a change of pace. I want to talk about team, right? We've seen Owen play things very calmly and collected for the first few minutes. This one, right, they started to do a crazy push onto R8. Unfortunately, they were taken out that push here to Metro.
I think it's really nice that we're starting to see more of the aggression that I was used to seeing from them. It's nice that they're starting to spread out and spread their wings a little bit. Unfortunately, they go up against R8, which is not really the team you want to go up against necessarily. If they had known that it was maybe a different something like that, it would have gone a little bit better. R8 are just having such a great day so far that it's gonna be difficult to go up against them. I think more along the lines of a Kara or an Ulf even might have had more success, especially Kara, because what we're seeing is completely different to how we're used to seeing them play, because they play edge, and so far today we've seen them play just edge, no center whatsoever, and I feel like it might just be throwing too much. I'd like to see them actually go back to center and see what happens.
It's a good change of pace for sure. I think it's good to have a little bit more variety of players are going into a game like this. But looking at the replay on the map, Thundertalk just again sweeping to the eastern side every single time. Point game, setting the record for the biggest chicken dinner point-wise of J1 on stage. Can they keep it up? Possibly. The Mad Bulls, despite must be a little bit critical, engaging on that fight. Wolves a little bit too early. You can play when you get 20. Pretty good zoning. I do think they dealt the pressure of this, so they were going to have to eventually try to be a little bit more proactive, which I can respect to some extent. You're just opening up the gates for the other teams, like GS team, like Undertalk, wrapping up the win with you. So still a really good performance, but those slight Pmgc lobby cost you the game, and in this case, that's what happens.
Yeah, and that's a great game for them regardless of the situation. It's just those few extra points. It makes such a big difference in the long run. Yeah, look at this. 1,200 damage, 194 healing, and 7 eliminations. This is, I think, the game that Thundertalk that's really needed here next.
Definitely, a lot of people actually the panels on ground were telling me, hey, no, AJ's looking really good and stuff's team. But look at Silly, he's been performing amazingly and so well, in fact. First position on the rankings, 53 points, many place points total over the course of these 4 matches. Their average is through the roof and amazing in the process. But now, Nitro, the question is, when you have 53 points, how comfortable are you to actually remain in top 7 until the end? Because that's a pretty big point lead. Wait, that's a 33-point lead. And also 8th. They're super comfy. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a big point, but
it is. I think it's a little too early to say they're super comfortable just yet, but that's a darn start for them. And coming out of the woodwork, I feel like, I think, Thundertalk, based on previous performances we've seen from them in the global stage, I certainly wasn't expecting too much out of them. And 3, I'm having to change my opinion 100%, because this Thundertalk is really like a year ago.
Yeah, 1,200 damage from City. I mean, that's gonna definitely right here. That's all it takes. One good chicken dinner. and rocket launch yourself, up these leaderboards. So hopefully we see a little bit more of this. It's now going to start going into Miramar. That's going to shake things up quite a bit. But one thing that we are starting to see is a little bit of that at least from first all the way down to 8th place. So these teams that are on that second half of the leaderboards, I think come Miramar, you're bringing something up here now.
It is kind of only a point gap being created in literally just 4 matches here. And this is a very strong lobby, but the fact you have a 33-point lead between first and the cutoff in 7th position, 8th position, it really big statements top tier team from your Thunder Talks under in the lead. So the end of the ball stage with everything popping off, King is up there. The way, quick little piece of information, he was on Nova Esports when they won Pmgc 0.
That's right.
Back to back. If they are able to go the entire way, with Pmgc, he would be the only player in the world that won 3 Pmgc, which would be a massive flex in your Instagram bio.
The ultimate flex. By the way, there is in the 3 players that have previously won a King has the most champions, and that is right with Bud. That was in 2020 and 21. Next is Silas, who's with Regna Vicaria. He won in 2022 with S2G.
আচ্ছা কমেন্ট করছে ভাই যে বাংলাদেশের কোনো টিম আছে কিনা না ভাই বাংলাদেশের কোনো টিম নাই আপাতত প্যারা নাই ছিল গাইস এক না এক বছর বাংলাদেশের টিম এটা খেলবে মাত্র তো আনব্যান হলো তো খেলাও তো বাকি
They are underperforming big time in my eyes, Neptura, right? Is this typical of what you kind of expected from them? Are you a little bit worried? What are you thinking about Alpha Gaming right now?
I mean, I think worried in ones that the other teams are doing so well, so consistently, APG might fall behind a bunch. On the other hand, this is very typical of what we've seen from APG. Like, they do this all the time. They will just not get anything done the first 1-2 days and then come back, 5 points the team they are. So I'm not concerned, but I think other teams might just take advantage of them, and in PMG, that's not the event you want that to happen.
I mean, Blank said it perfectly during the cast, right? It's the APG prank, okay? It's real. Day 1 is always the APG prank. Wait for day 2, day 3. That's when the real APG is going to surface here. Trust.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, because I saw that last game. Push on and shut the down. Yeah, this is a prank. You're right. I got pranked once again, right? Yeah, I hope it's a prank way, right? Come on, right? Show us what's going to happen. But what's smart? It happened right here in Miramar. But you know what? We've already done with Aaron today. We're done with Rondo. We saw 5 drops back. Max, talk to us a little bit about drops. We can see here.
So we have a few hot drops that could be happening. I'm just going to list them out real quick, okay, so everyone knows what to expect. Northern side, La Cornelia, Team Xavier versus Mad Balls could be happening. Also, it's Alpha 7 versus GS Team, or if GS Team go into Impala over to the eastern side, it would be GS Team versus Wolves. Teams in GK, Xavier, and DRX. San Martin is R8 versus E Arena. And now the big question mark I have about it.
তাইলে দেখলাম না আরে ভাই লাভ আছে এমন হতে পারে যে বাংলাদেশের টিম হিসেবে তোমার দল যাইতে পারে তাহলে তো দেখতে পারো তুমি যদি একবার দেশকে রিপ্রেজেন্ট করতে যাওয়ার আগে একবার দেখে তো যাইতে পারো যে কিরকম আসলে এখানে খেলাধুলা হয় আর কি আচ্ছা 2টা ম্যাচ বাকি আছে আর আই থিঙ্ক কিছুক্ষণের মধ্যে বাকি ম্যাচগুলো স্টার্ট হবে
Yeah, I agree. The other thing I would love to see is there's no one up in ruins right now, so I would love to see Orangutan if they decide that, hey, 2% is not that great, maybe they don't want to go to Labathida, ruins would be another option for the big both of the hot drops nearby as well.
Welcome back to a quick report with the 7WG.
Another option
that has been able to get 2 MVPs in PMGO and PMWC, but starting today. Welcome back to a quick report with the 7WG. I'm here with a man that has been able to get 2 MVPs in PMGO and PMWC. But starting today, I mean, you guys are struggling. Only 4 points after 4 matches. What's going on with the squad?
За өнөөдөр Танабагийн хувьд болохоор 4 тоглолт зөвхөн 4 хоног авсан байгаа. За ер нь өнөөдөр яаж эхэлж байна вэ? Тэгвэл тэгээд болдгоо тэгээд зээлээс болохгүй л байна. Currently, like, I don't know, nothing's working on our plan, so I can't really say much.
Are you looking to make changes going into Miramar, considering that there might be a hot drop there as well?
Miramar дээр хамт баг буужаагаас болоод танай багийн зүгээс ямар нэгэн өөрчлөлт оролцож байгаа юу?
Тэгэл байлтан да хот дропо ер нь аав одоо ямар ч баг байл байлтан да. Үндсэндээ
Even in the Miramar, there is a chance for drop, but still we will go for the fight and try to win our spot.
All right, well, I'm hoping if there is a fight, you guys end up winning it, because right now it's not the performance we're expecting out of APG. Back to you guys.
The look on. Because when we deserved, he said, you know what? Hey, that's coming, we're ready to fight. And then Seven was like, come on, dude, right? I mean, these guys do not mess around here. Because hot drops, they live for them.
I have never seen a stubborn team in all my days. This team, we're like, hey, great, lose 1-2 games, but y'all best scared for that third time, because it's not happening. You are going down. Kind of spirit we would love to see in any team, but when you're not doing so, maybe like I don't know, do something else. But listen, first Miramar, first hot drop. Let's see how it goes. You know, they're going, hey, we got this drop to military on a wrangle. We're not going to stop now.
Come on, let's see drop action. We heard it from Rebel earlier. He said, you know what, GS, come on down. We're going to fight this. We just heard it from APG. You know, they're ready to fight for a hot drop. How many hot drops are we going to see? John, you tell us right now. 1, 2, 3. I want to know.
I think 3 total. I think that's my answer. 0. Okay. Well, technically, every team that's dropping in is going to be real hot because it's Miramar. We're in the desert. We're heading over to the dunes once again to see how these teams take on this map. Miramar on the menu. La Cobraria over towards Impala on the plane path flank. If you guys want to keep track of the map throughout the whole of this season's Pmgc, you can, of course. There are public map feeds available. You can head on over and keep track of where every team is at all times. Which is a very valuable piece of knowledge. You can do a little bit of analysis if you want. We'll be doing so. We can use our map feeds as well. Nobody getting too stuck into it though.
I'm going to address the allegations right now.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of talk on Insta about orangutan. Okay? And Maxman's getting a lot of hate right now, okay? The thing is, if I'm talking about orangutan at 22 minutes into a game, this is already a good thing, okay? Because there are some teams I haven't been able to talk about at all because they're dead most of these games in the first 6 minutes. So the fact that I get to talk about orangutan 20 minutes in, that's already kind of based for an Indian team, okay? Let's all chill out. Let's all just have a little chill out.
So, just to clarify what Blank said, he said orangutan are so bad and he hates them as people.
I don't think I said that.
Well, let's head over to the stage with 7 to calm things down. What have you got for us, 7? Oh, maybe not quite yet.
It's in 20 seconds.
Okay.
15
well, it's going. Well, right. But yeah, of course. Orangutan doing some pretty solid stuff. Let's head over to the stage for realsies this time. I promise it's not an Alpha Gaming prank.
Welcome back to a quick report with the 7WG. This time I'm joined by none other than OG, AKOP. Boy, what a performance you guys are putting up here in the first 3 matches, backing it up with great placement points, but the eliminations aren't quite there yet. But you're building up that confidence.
Yep, we are building the confidence and we are looking forward to grab some eliminations too. Some situations are holding us back, but we make sure we will show the dominance performance like we used to show in India.
Well, I'm happy that the placement points are there, but that fragging power, what do you feel like you need to be able to adjust for that fragging power to come through?
For now, we are absorbing the atmosphere, we are studying the teams, what are the teams doing, and we are looking forward to have a team meeting and what are the mistakes we are doing that, not getting us the elimination we wanted. And yeah, you will for sure see some double-digit elimination in upcoming matches.
I'm gonna take that as a promise, and for everybody in India, I'm pretty sure this is pretty much a light of hope. The performance is there. I'm hyped up for you guys. I'm hoping that the fragging power is gonna come through, and honestly, great start, even though the elims aren't there yet.
A little bit of a false start on their promises of fragging power in that previous match, but here on Miramar, hopefully they'll be able to do a little bit more. They are center on this circle blank over towards La Bandita, over towards that area of the map. We'll see if they can get the business done and stay in that top 7 spot for that direct qualification to the grand finals.
Indeed. Have a look at what's happening elsewhere on the map right now. Got DRX down towards Puerto Paraiso, and we're getting pretty much a Minas Gerais central finish at the moment, which is not the most horrible position on the map in the world. I mean, I'm much further dropping down towards the southwest side, which is difficult playing, honestly. An R8 in San Martin. I actually want to see a little bit more out of R8. Very much enjoying the gameplay so far. A little bit risky at times though. Cheeky shots coming through from DS3.
It's interesting, he swapped over to the M249, was playing on the pacing that was assumed of him, dropped those shotgun shells out the window and then immediately swapped to hop out for the spray down. You can see that the plan was to break whilst he was reloading, right, up into the wall. But that weapon swap really very timely and well read. So nice stuff coming through from GS. They'll take a scalp of Alpha 7 for their prize. Regan Kaya surviving as 4 this time. Hopefully they can continue to do that. They were getting clipped quite a lot on Erangel in these last 2 matches. E-Arena, in the meantime, on the north side now, making their approach through the areas up towards the city, up towards Truck Stop now. As you can see, they're moving forward, still with their substitute in. Joker out, NC2, he played in that last match, wasn't quite able to go the full distance. We'll see what they can do now.
Kind of just taking a look at where some of these rotational paths are going to come from, because I think at the moment Mad Balls has a okay path inwards, but a lot of the central space is already taken up right now, John, which is difficult. It's difficult to work with, especially moving through like such an open area with the fields, etc. Kike on the screens versus E-Arena, just spraying it, honestly. NC2 will win out the engagement. Kind of got sick of the shotgun there a little bit, didn't he?
It's like, brother, that's not, you're not an alarm clock. Be quiet. He sits him down. There is an answer. So both E-Arena and Kike now have lost a player. Kike try and move forwards as 2 more, but with the side angle there, could potentially get some shots in, or nades in through those open garage doors, but that truck really playing spoiler to a lot of his sight lines, so the regroup, I think, probably necessary here. The third player from Kike off in the distance, about 200, 300 meters away, it's kind of a non-factor unless they look to regroup.
Yeah, right now, this is a bit of a weird fight where E-Arena is going to struggle to remove themselves from this engagement. Inside this building, you've got Nerzed hovering off in the distance as well. Definitely a frustrating one for E-Arena, but over towards Truck Stop anyway, it's likely that both teams are going to be leaving here for quite some time. How close they are. Aaron finding a shot over towards Prestige. Not flushed yet though, so there's still a chance to get their player back up on their feet. Thunder Talk nice and central as well, looking to put even more points on the day here, which is impressive.
Always a good idea to put more points on the cards. Nerzed moving up. Playing closer. Fight being shunted around the truck stop. Unlikely for teams to impact this fight as well. It's a little bit too far flung. Maybe the Mad Balls could be here in a minute or 2, but it's more likely that they're going to make their approach elsewhere. Very isolated fight. Not out of the question to fully disengage from this, from actually either of these 2 rosters. They are fully split linearly, but Nerzed really the sticking point of this fight, up on the hill, with oversight on this one.
Yeah, it's the main issue. Again, it's only 2 players underneath, so Kevin as well as Safchi can't get really too aggressive, but you are in a bit of a deadlock right now between both these teams. Map ball's coming through from ward treatment. Most teams are just in position. Can we wait for stage 2 here on Miramar, biggest shift available. Set down towards. See where these next circles will end up. And it's between someone and Picardo as well as Minas. So again, this is a lot of fielded area, a lot of open area. We'll mean that this fight needs to end soonish though.
Does have a little bit of a ticking clock on it. If does he regroup? Do they push through as 3? I'm not sure. I think it's probably a better idea just to... I mean, you could potentially just try and hold that fight out and try and play the longer game. Regnum Kaya, though, on the middle, having a bit of a clash, actually, with Ulf as Silas keeps Loxy safe. They don't want to be losing players early, not again. Especially on Miramar here, the 2-2 split for Regnum Kaya. The high ground position for Z10, controlling Thunder Talk a little bit, making their run out just that bit harder. Scarface, he's trying to move in, but no, they're not going to find anything. Silas gets the res.
Again, for Regnum Kaya, it's definitely a case of they really don't want to start another game on 3 players. That would be tremendously bad for them. Just having one game go their way would be fantastic, especially from the position they're currently in. They're just the west of Thunder Talk. And being able to be in this position means that they have a good chance for an end game, a late game. They're only on 18 points right now. Pumping those points up a little bit more would be ideal. You're getting towards a 40-point boundary at the end of the day is typically what you're really looking for here.
Yeah, getting 40 points on a day would see you fairly safe towards the 7th place position and higher. Around that 110 boundary is where I'm expecting the points to end up here for 7th place. It will be what they're going to be looking to try and convert on your right, so a lot of work to do in these last 2 games, earning 22 points for Regnum Kaya. In the meantime, plenty of other teams are going to try and break that boundary as well. Alpha 7 very nearly there, and very nearly losing a player as he sails over the ridgeline for Alpha 7. They will stay alive just that bit longer. Of course, losing a player already, going down to 2 would be pretty disastrous, especially with the chocolate block south side as it is. First Pro bringing up the rear.
A huge amount of teams down here as well.
আচ্ছা গাইস, এখানে যদিও বাংলাদেশ নাই, তারপরও নিজেদের ফেভারিট টিমকে অবশ্যই সাপোর্ট করতে পারো, সাপোর্ট দেখাই যাও। ফেভারিট টিম না থাকলেও ভাই এখানে সাপোর্ট করার মতো অনেক টিম আছে, যাদের ইন্টারন্যাশনাল লবি সম্পর্কে ধারণা আছে, তারা আসলে সাপোর্ট করার মতো টিম খুঁজে পাইবে। সো অবশ্যই নিজেদের ফেভারিট টিমকে সাপোর্ট করো। আমার সাউন্ড ক্লিয়ার কিনা একটু কমেন্টে জানাই দাও, যদিও আমি সাউন্ড ক্লিয়ার রাখারই চেষ্টা করছি, তারপর একবার জানাই দাও।
Treacherous at the best of times, Geeke. Sending away. I think he's getting down that hill safely. I'm not entirely sure. As the circle pops up towards the north side, it helps out Kara over towards Graveyard, over towards R8 as well, who are looking to take that first place position back and keep it under control. Ulf as well being helped out here. So all of these teams to the north of the Labandita crater having a good time with this shift blank.
Yeah, I think for Thunder Talk again, it is a good spot for them. They're currently holding. Orangutan currently coming in from that south side.
ভাই ভালো টিমের নেম বলেন। ভালো টিম বলতে গেলে এখানে আসলে আমাদের পাশে যেহেতু ইন্ডিয়া আছে, আমরা অবশ্যই ইন্ডিয়াকে সাপোর্ট করতে পারি, যদিও আমাদের অনেকের সাথে আসলে ইন্ডিয়ার একটা মনোমালিন্য আছে। তারপরে ভাই স্পোর্টস এর দিক দিয়ে আমরা সবাই এক, ওকে? সো স্পোর্টস এর দিক দিয়ে যখন আমরা সবাই এক, তো অবশ্যই ইন্ডিয়ান টিম আছে, ওজি আছে, ওজিকে আমরা সাপোর্ট করতে পারি। এখানে সৌদি আরবেরও একটা টিম দেখতে পারতেছি। আমাদের ফ্রি ফায়ারে কিন্তু যখন ফ্রি ফায়ারে আমরা খেলি তখন দেখেছি ফ্রি ফায়ারে কিন্তু সৌদি টিম আমরা দেখি না নাকি, বাট এখানে সৌদিয়ান টিমও আছে।
chiming in, and the nades are through as well. Scarface goes down next, but CEO gets a little bold.
মানে পাবজির সোলো দিতেও ভালো একটা ইয়ে আছে আর কি, ভালো টিম সিম আছে, নাহলে গ্লোবালে চান্স পাওয়া তো এক দুইয়ের কথা না আর কি। এখান থেকেও আবার 12টা টিম সিলেক্ট করা হবে, যে 12টা টিম আসলে ফাইনালে যাইতে পারবে, নাকি 18টা টিম, ওকে সরি 18টা টিম আই থিঙ্ক, 18টা টিম চান্স চাইবে।
Just on the western edge of Labandita here, currently trying to push their way through wolves. Don't really need to force this engagement considering
আর দেখো ভাই ইন্ডিয়ান ওজি টিম কিন্তু ভালোই খেলতে আছে, 27 পয়েন্ট করে নিয়ে আছে তারা, সেখানে অনেক দেশ কিন্তু এখনো ডাউনফল চলতে আছে। আমাদের লাস্ট দেখতে পাচ্ছি এপিজি আছে, মাত্র 4 পয়েন্ট কালেক্ট করতে পেরেছে।
NC2 is not likely to get back up here, is he?
No, he's pretty donezo right now. Arena are in the four corners of the map at the moment. Very, very spread. Looks like a survival play. I mean, it looks like TNK can regroup to Mormon and maybe they'll play on us too.
সেই সব বিবেচনা আসলে বাংলাদেশ মানে আমাদের ইন্ডিয়ান টিম কিন্তু ভালোই খেলতে আছে ওজি।
I was looking at the Wolves position there. I don't think they need to push, but it's Alpha 7 and Verse Pro that this fight actually, in fact, on our screen.
ওকে এখানে দেখতে পাচ্ছি ভিপি এর সাথে একটা ভার্সেস হবে।
Around the edge of this crater, right? Most likely towards the Wolves position, the circle. If it goes all the way north, they can divert around him, and if it pops.
ভাই আমার কমেন্ট্রির চেয়ে আমার মনে হয় যে এই যে ইংলিশ যে কমেন্ট্রি বলে তিনি ভালো খেলতে আছে।
Sends towards the Wolves, but maybe they want to stay on the outside and third party.
হ্যাঁ যারা ইংলিশে কমেন্ট, তাই জন্য আমি বাংলাদেশের লাইভ রেখে ইন্ডিয়ান লাইভটা দেখতে, মানে ইংলিশ যে মেইন লাইভ ওইটার সাথে দেখতে আছি।
Very much difficult spot. I mean, Alpha 7 and Verse Pro now struggling. Play against one another. Wolves also will just play on this edge for a little bit longer. Labandita really is always this difficult terrain piece where it really causes some of these rotations to go right. Because if you are one of these teams on the south, like you're forced to play a western rotate now, it's really hard playing an eastern rotate because you have little to no information on that north side.
It's difficult to get those scouting on the far edge. That's Pro mounting up closer. You can see they are setting themselves up at the top of the hill to potentially roll down towards the Wolves, but they've got to be worried about Alpha 7. I mean, do Alpha 7 go all the way around? Do they go wide? Or Virtus Pro going to take that option? Maybe they're going to crash in towards Alpha 7 here.
আমি বুঝতেছি না ভাই, এখানে আমাদের লিস্টে দেখতে পারতেছি 16টা টিম আছে, বাট উপরে যদি আমরা একটু দেখি, তোমাদের দেখাই উপরে 14টা টিমের নাম আমাদের শো করতে, মানে 14টা টিম আছে সেইটা দেখাইতে কেন পাই। 2টা টিম এখানে এলিমিনেট হয়ে গেছে, বাট তাহলে তো ওকে ওকে ভাই হিসাব মিলে গেছে ভাই, 16টা 18টা টিম না ভাই, আমি বারবার 18টা টিম হিসাব করতে আসছি, 16টা টিম আসলে একটা লবিতে খেলে। প্যারানে আমরা একটা ভার্সেস দেখতে পারতেছি, ভিপির সাথে আমাদের A7 এর একটা ভার্সেস চলতে আছে।
Moving out around, moving up to the Labandita to create the edge, but in the meantime the rest of his team rides on in. Revo tries to hold the corridor, looks for the shutdowns, but it's not working. None of them can find a shot. Malloy was here to play, but he wasn't needed. Alpha 7 swept aside, and Virtus Pro the ones to tear them to shreds.
I mean, I'm surprised they were able to make that happen, honestly. I was very surprised they were able to make that happen. It's an incredible push. Versus Pro, especially over towards Longhouse as well. I mean, leaving that door open and then grouping up and getting naded out is pretty ridiculous. And Versus Pro looks down over towards OG. They're on the pick of one, but a quick pick of the vehicle will get one of their players back out again to safety. And I'm stuck inside Labandita, a little bit rough now.
A crater. Will be potentially a difficult place to leave in the Labandita south side. The arenas to leave in the Labandita south side. Trying to keep their two players in. Trying to find a little slice of respite, but I don't think it's going to be too easy to do so. You can see Orangutan lighting them up, DX Xavier sending them away, no room at the inn, and it's into the crater with them. It looks like Orangutan might actually be dropping down to fight them, to meet them. They will come off of that ridge side and move into the angle, the oversight there. but will that give Virtus.pro too much ground? Will that allow Virtus.pro on the south to move in where they weren't allowed to before?
Yeah, I think for DRX, they're holding the two-man split down this way as well, just to prevent teams from making that rotate over towards the eastern side. I think you are Virtus.pro, you're just kind of looking for these teams trying to leave out through from Lavandita. Good shot over towards Mormon as well. We'll find one. And not likely to end up in a flush, but that does mean that their push out towards that eastern side is now covered by the fact that flush res needs to go through. Talk just playing this game out really easy right now. I'm also very surprised that OG was able to make this cross. It was a decent one underneath the purview of Virtus.pro. I mean, they did have to leave a couple of players behind. This was crazy. Right, this is crazy. DRX held this angle for so long, and then as they leave, Virtus.pro makes the push. So you either need to commit or not commit. Not one or the other.
Yeah, it's not ideal. It's not worked out for DRX in that situation. Wolves, though, actually moving back up and maybe trying to backfill on this rotation for Virtus.pro. I don't think I had this on the cards at the moment, but the Wolves are making this rotate, and it might pan out. Mavo now caught alone. The rest of Virtus.pro found a little bit of isolation from him, and there's no way he's getting back up. The Wolves clip the wings of Virtus.pro, make it all the harder to move over this Lavandita crater here. It is a couple of real crazy rotates coming through on this south edge, and I'm loving it.
It's such a hard place to rotate through as well. It's very hard to make happen. If Wolves make a late rotate back down towards the south side to push through. Virtus.pro still ahead of things, but are losing players, hemorrhaging as they go. Xavier are waiting, and Virtus.pro kind of sense there's something in the midst there, and will just back it off.
It is a strong backing off as well. They do make it to a shack, but you've got to imagine it's going to be a question of does the circle go to it, and if not, it might just be done for. They're going to move again. I wouldn't put it past them. DRX now trying to make their move as well, but the Wolves have the ridgeline. And it's not going to be easy at all to make their way out this direction. And a little bit further they have to go as well, as DRX will be consumed by the blue here. Wolves making their way across the crater ground. Over towards that north edge of things. Playing up towards the overside, towards Xavier, towards that high ground that they held.
For Xavier, I mean, it's an okay spot, right? It's fairly central, but it's just it's a nade hole, right? People are just going to be throwing. As soon as they start to get close there, it is so easy just to smoke that area and then just toss nades it. Xavier's done for. It's going to keep them protected for quite a while. I might even give them the chance at an endgame finish here, but it's not likely to end up being a win. DRX always seem to be moving at the wrong time. Virtus.pro just slightly ahead of Wolves. It's sad for Virtus.pro that they made this rotate only to fall prey to a very similar rotate from Wolves later on. GK will go down, his map balls pushing through once again. I think map balls have had a lot of success today. I've been quite impressed by them.
Yeah, I've had some solid engagements. They're in third place. That is undeniable. 39 points so far today. Now they want to try and find DRX and PK, or whatever remains of them rather. As Nurse said, actually, breaking out far all the way to the back of the compound here. Probably going to be fairly safe for this. Until, that is, Mad Bulls actually get across the way. Because they are going to have to push through this one. And they are going to have to move towards the circle, which sits southwest of them right now. Probably over towards the Xavier. That's where they're looking.
Nice shot from Flip towards Soez as he makes the jump. Mad Balls can continue down this way. It's so open over on these fields. Pretty much there's a big task ahead of a couple of teams here. OG have to deal with E-Arena, which shouldn't be too difficult playing out on that eastern side. They'll talk with APG, R8 maybe moving up over towards GS. But mostly Kara is kind of controlled right now by GS on that western side.
You nearly really found something special there. Was able to take one down in only a second, but not quite. As Z falls, EK are eliminated. GS, in the meantime, to hop over to the northwest side near Kara, near R8 as well. We're regrouping to third party this. If GS take a knock or two, R8 are going to be able to overwhelm this. You need to be careful. Icon stepping forward, CEO and Lewis trying to play off one another, playing on the windows. The CEO stepping in. Jafar goes down, goes low. R8 now's the time to push up, but they're not really in a position to do it. They haven't fully regrouped here. It might not matter though, because GS still have got more to deal with. Kara on the outside, giving them a run for it. Icon steps in, but can't quite find him. The CEO just fails to get back behind the corner and falls to it.
GS still holding on here. Kara, I'm surprised that they put up a little bit of fight here. They were stuck in, but GS did a really good number on them. In the meantime, APG is scrapping on the top side of things. You can see that in the picture on the bottom right. APG do finally come out on top, but it is, I believe, just Doc remaining there with full squad wipe over towards Undertalks in the end. Wonderfully done.
वो फोन गाएगा नहीं
But not an easy push either. Lost that one.
ये कहते थे सोने डिलीट कर सोने
At the very least, it would have been two players from Thundertalk still up, but APG still got it. Nice day from Iso again over towards Marth. Already loses another player.
They did have a to try and third party up to the north, but they were more concerned maintaining their self-boundary. That may be the right play in this situation. You can see they just give that fight the slip, and now they're going to allow all those teams on the north to get stuck in amongst themselves. Kara and Mad Bulls will have to conclude. GS as well. Everybody's stuck up there now. Gonna have a tough time, but it's DX Xavier with one hell of a position, and they're going to have to hold a push now, Blank, because someone's going to go for it.
Yeah, again, for DX Xavier, like I said, this is going to be a hard hold. A very, very hard hold for them. You can see nades are already starting to be sent over by the Mad Bulls. But equally for anyone else, like, even if you take down DX Xavier, you're still having the situations like, where do you play after that? Kara not giving up too easily on the crossout. R8 able to continue to hold here. They had information earlier from Marth going down, and with GS all locked in this one position. Nades galore from either side, from Kara, from R8. Goodness me, that is damage pouring on.
Oh, well, looks good. No, it's just short. They continue, though, the bombardment. It seems like they're bottomless on the nade pockets here, with more pouring in, but Mad Bulls finally humbling them slightly, stepping them back off the angle as the nades bobble over the fence, trying to weather it from the Mad Bulls as well. Oh, it is really difficult to make any sort of movement on this north side. Pusher for Mad Bulls on the off angle there. Actually looking to regroup, it seems, play up and towards the rest of the team. The CEO, he's positioned, will get taken down as Lemon to claim the point. That is now 16 remaining.
Just the 6 left now. OG actually making it over towards the northeast side here. Good wrap around from mrtanvinofficial. Another Dieter. Now looking over towards DX Xavier, but Flip finding that shot over towards AKOP. A little bit of a difficult scenario to head themselves into. R8 putting more points in the back pocket, up to 50 now, and Mad Bull's not too far behind. OG attempting to reset on this one, but still 7 elims on the game. Pretty damn good stuff. 32 points total.
Mr. Shihab Gaming 2025.
Refocus there for OG. Now they have to push it against DX Xavier. This is a really difficult bunker to hold though, because nades do so much against you. You can see, okay, I'm surprised that one didn't tag on. A little bit of cover found somewhere. Some concrete outcrop, helping them out. Still got a couple of nades to play. Don't like OG know about it, but not wary of the vehicle. Nobody really on that south flank other than him. Behind it, the shots are connecting. But Wizcott is looking good to try and find the concrete positions. Oh, he steps back into the spray line and nearly goes down because of it.
Wizcott going to send straight back up again. Knows he's to pull down the grenade now because he has to keep DX Xavier at bay. Another strong grenade over the top. Lambor last remaining alive inside of this bunker, and now they look further towards Levi's. Again, more reses coming through. They see Madballs off in the distance. OG looking for even more on this game. Up to the top 4 now.
Madballs are the bigger threat for OG right now, but he's just launching an aid over to Levi's, doesn't connect there. Some cover still found. That is a crazy push, you're right, but somehow goes unpunished. Madballs more preoccupied with getting those reses. There's 3 players still alive here. The Molotov sent to the sky for Aru.
গাইস যারা যারা স্ট্রিমে আসো সবাই সাপোর্ট করো। দেখতে পারতেছো লাস্ট 4 টিম আছে, কিন্তু আমাদের ইন্ডিয়ান ওজি আছে গাইস। ইন্ডিয়ান ওজি টিমটা আছে, তো অবশ্যই একটু সাপোর্ট দেখাও ওজিকে। ফাইট তো দারুণই হইতে আছে। ওজির 3টা প্লেয়ার আছে। ডিএক্স এর কিন্তু ভালো আছে, মানে তারা 4 জনই আছে, ম্যান পাওয়ার আছে এখনো। কি হয় জানে না। যদি ওজি একটা ভাই ওজি যদি একটা চিকেন ডিনার নিয়ে নেয় রে গাইস, इंडिया पक्ष থেকে তাহলে একটা চিকেন ডিনার हो जाएगा रे भाई। देखना चाहते हो इंडियन कोई ऑडियंस? इंडिया क्या भाई, इंडिया का हाल खराब हो गया भाई। लास्ट ऑन पब्लिक अरे शेष ओजी एलिमिनेटेड। এখন ম্যাড আর ডিএক্স এর কাছে, দেখা যাক ম্যাড কি করে। ম্যাডের 3টা প্লেয়ার, ডিএক্স এর 2 জন। ম্যান পাওয়ারের ম্যাড আগাই থাকলেও ডিএক্স এর 2 জন কিন্তু পজিশনের দিক দিয়ে ভালো পজিশনেই আছে। বাট ওয়েট ডিএক্স এটা ভুলই হবে। আরে ছি ভাই, শেষ আর চান্স নাই ভাই। ম্যাডের কাছে চিকেন ডিনার চলে গেছে। ভাই আমি দেখেছি, পরিস্থিতি দেখেই বুঝেছি যে আর চান্স নাই। পোলাবান খুশি হয়ে গেছে দেখো ভাই।
Yeah, very good stuff coming through from the Madballs. Honestly, really well done from them in terms of control recently. I think as an aggressive team, they've been playing very well. For Xavier,
guys, ওজি চিকেন ডিনারটা নিতে পারলো না, প্যারা নাই, ওজি নেবে চিকেন ডিনার ভাই। ইন্ডিয়ান একটা টিম খেলতে আছে, আমাদের অবশ্যই উচিত ইন্ডিয়ান টিমটাকে একটু সাপোর্ট করা, যেহেতু বাংলাদেশ থেকে যেতে হয় না, ইন্ডিয়া আমাদের প্রতিবেশী দেশ, যদিও প্রতিবেশী মতো কাজ কারবার করে না, তারপর ভাই স্পোর্টসে আমরা সবাই এক, সো ওজিকে সাপোর্ট করা যেতেই পারে। ওদের ম্যাট এই যারা চিকেন ডিনার নিচ্ছে তাদেরকে শো করতে আছে। मैड लेमन, मैड फ्लेव, मैड पुशर, नाम की रे भाई, नामगुला देखो, फ्लिप पुशर।
Yeah, and I think it is impressive to see that one happen. I was very pleased with the way that game panned out, because it was set after set of very difficult rotations coming through from teams to deal with, especially on that south side for First Pro, for Wolves, for DRX. These are all tricky rotations to figure out. Even for OG, the way that they navigate through Lavandita, that is not an easy position to play, because they dealt with E-Arena shortly afterwards.
Guys,
but at an international level like this, I expected teams to be able to do that, but I didn't expect every single team to be able to navigate that position fairly well. So it was quite impressive and a fun game to watch, and also it's one of the first times in quite a while I've seen someone effectively play out that bunker where Xavier were playing jump.
I mean, normally you just see those nades land straight on top of you and you're straight on down, but that vehicle position, that's just pretty crazy.
It really was. And I think this is... Oh, dear me. I don't think this is the final blow, but it was the final blow for OG. That's for sure. Really tough stuff. I mean, to be fair, OG plucked up the courage to actually push in towards the bunker, which they needed to do. But yeah, that's a rude angle. Absolutely a rude angle to play.
Yeah, it needs like a perfect approach from the vehicle as well. It's very inconsistent to be able to get that set up, as we've highlighted before. It's just incredible, and you can't blame OG at all for going down to it. They also got 7 elims on that match, so again, a couple more elims able to find that focus. As we take a look at the stats here for the Mad Bulls on their win, they will be able to be fairly consistent across the board here. Tunica a little bit lower on the elims, but still keeping up with the damage. Flip as well, but yeah, great stuff for them. Coming through a really tricky spot on the north side of their circle too.
Yeah, again, I think that this is a team that just works. It's funny the way this team has been brought together as well, because Tunica, been picked up by several different teams within Europe as well. Pusher, similarly, Lemon, Flip. They've all been on several different teams in the past and kind of been like the player that's been dropped or the 2 players that have been pushed out. And they were like, you know what? To hell with it. Let's just make a team together. We can be successful from there. They have been. And it's nice to see the revival of Mad Balls from that as well, which is definitely the coolest thing for me, because Mad Balls was a name that you used to say in the past, and it was a fearsome name. Let's take a look at some of those highlights from that last game, because there were definitely quite a few, but there was also quite a few moments where you were out in the open, and it's a tough position to play. But these initial shots from the arena, from GK, taking shots over towards them, holding the position. It is surprising watching that earlier on, John, from a truck stop, and then seeing where arena edge.
It's interesting we're seeing Reg and Kaya on here as well. It feels like they have really been dropping the ball today. They are not having a good time of things. Maybe they'll be able to research. But at the moment, it's not looking good for their 7th place chances. They did come into conflict with plenty of teams out for blood. You see the frustration on Silas's face there. Very disappointed with his performance of his team as well, you'd imagine. Some of the oversight that OG had onto one of these scraps around the ladder needs to break them. That south-side south rotation was really quite wild, I think, with Virtus Pro, with ERX, with Arena, all making, with making some really interesting choices.
Yeah, it's a tough game to play in, honestly. And especially with all the open area towards the end, it was really because you had to clear out a lot of teams. And we kind of predicted it quite well that DXA would be the last teams to fall as well, just because that spot, although tremendously treacherous to play in, does give you a nice going into the future, at least secure.
Balls celebrating their chicken dinner there, rightly so. Very nice stuff coming on through. So we take a look at our match rankings as well here. 22 points total for the game, 12 elims found. A really nice result for the Mad Bulls. That north side paying out dividends on their position. But in 2nd place there, 14 points for OG.
Yeah, really wonderful stuff. And I mean, only getting 5 placement points as well. I mean, they get 3rd place. I don't quite pick up the 2nd there because of DXavier, but still a really strong game. 9 elims off the back of it, 14 points total. I kind of liked what we heard about in the interview between Z10 as well as AKOP, where they were talking about that realistically what they were doing in those first few games was, and it makes a lot more sense to me now as well, where they're trying to figure out the rotations, they're trying to figure out these teams, because they, unlike a lot of other teams here, haven't had the chance to play in a lot of these other international tournaments, figure out how different teams play from several different regions. So for them, this is quite an overwhelming experience, I imagine. But to kind of get a grasp of it and then move into a much more what feels like a comfortable flow state come match 5, that's definitely a nice thing to see.
As our MVP for that match was Lemon from Mad Bulls, doing almost healing, surviving the longest, obviously, in the winning team. But yeah, a big heal game coming on through for Lemon. As pump out plenty of damage as well. Nice stuff coming on through.
Indeed. He had the most healing, apparently, out of anyone in the world, somehow. Player data there, 332. That's the highest that has been occurred. 673 damage total. 1,000 damage for AKOP, actually gaining The old Kalaris accolade of respect, getting over the 1,000 damage mark. With only 3 elims is wild, by the way. So he was just taking cracks at everyone inside the lobby. Not quite finding the elim, but certainly giving out a fair few bruises and cuts in the process. Lambo, the face does not match the punch right now. He looks afraid to go to battle with it, but you know, he still did 611 damage, so he's a fearsome boxer nonetheless.
Absolutely. Don't want to come across him on the dunes of Miramar. I mean, for OG, right, their position on the north side of the Labadita crater, they were holding out Wolves, they were holding out E-Arena, they were holding out all those teams to the south, taking pot shots as well. We saw them flexing out, doing a lot of work. Not necessarily getting the most in response, but probably a lot of those elims were taken away by maybe other members of his team, right? There were 4 other elims on his team. It'd be interesting to see what the general stats for OG were, but yeah, a great result. He's living up to the interview talk, which often doesn't happen. You know, a player will say, "Oh yeah, you know, we'll get better. We'll be more elimination focused, yada yada yada," and you think, "Yeah, right, okay, pull the other one." But no, he's living up. It's good to see.
Yeah, well, I mean, he did really. I think the cool thing was that when he was speaking, we hear a lot of generalizations during interviews as well, where it's goes, "Oh, we'll do better. We'll get more elims, etc., etc." I don't think he did that too much. I clearly identified where they were weak and what they needed to improve on, what they were doing quite well. And I think that's very important for a team. See, those are things you definitely need to identify in future to improve.
I think I would have been a little bit more harsh if it was the case that he came into the rest of the day and they hadn't really improved on any of those things. But again, it's nice to see from what we saw earlier, which was, you know, still decent rotations, but a little bit more of a passive performance, to this, which is now quite aggressive at times. And also they look a lot more comfortable. So it's nice seeing the evolution from them. Similarly with Mad Bulls over the years, it's a very similar story.
Yeah, that sort of reforming of that team, as you said, that coming back together of players who have dropped out of teams or been replaced on teams, having a good result in this game. And I think that, to be honest, certainly at the middle of this year, generally this standard quality of play was not the best, I think, overall in the PUBG mobile scene. But it feels to be improving here. I'm feeling a little bit of bigger of breath of life being sent back into the old dog. It's good to see.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back when the match is ready. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
গাইস, সবাই সবার পছন্দের টিমকে অবশ্যই সাপোর্ট করো। যদিও बांग्लादेशी কোনো टीम नहीं, तारपरो जो भी जहाँ से देख रहे हैं भाई, सब लोग सपोर्ट करें अपने टीम को। इंडियन टीम है, शायद ओजी टीम है, तो इंडियन कोई है तो भाई इंडिया को सपोर्ट करो। ओजी लिखो कमेंट बॉक्स में, ओजी लिख के भर दो भाई। कमेंट बॉक्स में मैं देखना चाहता हूँ ओजी लिखा है, फुल ओजी। ओके, सब लोग ओजी लिखो, ओजी ओजी। लास्ट मैप गाइस, लास्ट मैप बाकी है। मैच शुरू आने वाला है, शुरू হবে এখন শুরু হবে। सब लोग अपने पसंदीदा टीम को सपोर्ट करो भाई। कमेंट बॉक्स में लिख दो যে कौन सी टीम को सपोर्ट करता है भाई। সবাই সবার পছন্দের টিমকে সাপোর্ট করো, যে কে কোন টিমকে সাপোর্ট করো ভাই। ম্যাচ কিন্তু স্টার্ট হবে, এখন স্টার্ট হবে। সবাই ইয়ারফোন পরে রেডি হইতেছে, দেখো ভাই। আমি মূলত ফাইনালের ভেন্যুটা দেখতে চাই, এটা তো গ্রুপ স্টেজ, তাই জন্য ভেন্যুটা তেমন একটা সুন্দর দেখাইতে আসছে না। ফাইনালের ভেন্যুটা তোমরা দেখো ভাই, 14 তারিখ, ওকে 14 তারিখ আমি লাইভে আসবো সেদিনও। আচ্ছা, স্যামসাং এর তো কোনো গেমিং ফোন আই থিঙ্ক নাই নাকি, তোমরা একটু কমেন্টে জানাই তো। বাট আমি দেখি যে স্যামসাং অনেক গেমের সাথে আসলে আমাদের পার্টনারশিপে থাকে, যেভাবে পাবজিতে দেখো স্যামসাং আছে, ফ্রি ফায়ারের সময়ও দেখলাম যে FFWSেও আমাদের স্যামসাং ছিল, তারপর আমাদের অন্যান্য গেমেও আমি দেখি স্যামসাং ছিল, আমাদের ফাল্লাইট 84-এর টুর্নামেন্ট হোক অথবা ক্ল্যাশ অফ ক্লান্স বলি বা হনার অফ কিংস, লেজেন্ড অফ হনার্স নাকি যেন এসব গেমে আছে, সমস্ত কিছু দেখি স্যামসাং আছে। বাট স্যামসাং তো কোনো গেমিং ফোন না, বাট ওয়াই? ওকে, ম্যাচ স্টার্ট হয়ে যাবে, দেখো প্লেয়াররা হাততালি মাততালি দিয়ে আর কি রেডি। মাইটা সুন্দর আছে গাইস, মাইটা কিন্তু সুন্দর আছে। আচ্ছা, ওদিকে আমরা খেয়াল না দিই ভাই, ম্যাচের দিকে খেয়াল রাখি। ওকে ওকে, এই তো ইন্ডিয়ান টিম আমাদের ওজি ভাই, কুছ ধামাকাদার করে। আচ্ছা, ওজির স্পন্সর হচ্ছে আইকিউ। ওকে ভাই, ভিভোর স্পন্সরশিপে কেউ একটা টিম আছে দেখতে পারলাম, আমাদের আইকিউর স্পন্সরশিপে কিন্তু ইন্ডিয়ান টিমটা আছে আমাদের ওজি। বাংলাদেশের টিমগুলো কবে এই গ্লোবাল চ্যাম্পিয়নশিপটা খেলবে আর কবে বা স্পন্সরশিপ পাবে, আমরা ওইটা দেখতে চাই। যদিও আমাদের ইনফিনিক্স কিন্তু আমাদের ইয়ন স্পোর্টস কিন্তু স্পন্সরশিপে আছে, তো বাংলাদেশে ইনফিনিক্স ভালো কিছু একটা করতে আছে। বাট অন্যান্য দেশে আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি স্যামসাং আছে, আইকিউ আছে। আই থিঙ্ক স্যামসাং, আইকিউ বাংলাদেশে এগুলো তো অফিসিয়াল না, সো এগুলো বাংলাদেশের সঙ্গে কোলাবোরেশন ওভাবে করে না। বাট যেহেতু ইনফিনিক্স আছে বাংলাদেশে, গেমিং ফোনও তারা তৈরি করতে আছে, সো আই থিঙ্ক তারা বেস্ট কিছুই করবে, আমাদের টিমদের নিয়ে কিছু ভালো কিছু একটা প্রিফার করবে আর কি। আচ্ছা, এখানে তো সবাই মোবাইল প্লেয়ারই নাকি আছে, মোবাইল প্লেয়ারই সবাই। ওকে, ইনফিনিক্স মিডিয়াটেক ডাইমেনসিটি 7400 ভাই মিডিয়াটেক ডাইমেনসিটি 7400 প্রসেসরে কি চলে আমি বুঝি না GT30 প্রোটা ঠিক আছে গেমিং এর জন্য এই যে এইটা ঠিক আছে পাবজির জন্য এটা ঠিক আছে আগেরটা ঠিক না ভাই 8300 আলটিমেট এইটা ঠিক আছে ভাই আমি যে ফোন ইউজ করি ওইটাই 8400 তো এটা 8350 তো একদিক দিয়ে ঠিকই আছে ভাই চলবে কারণ 7400 তেও পাবজি টুকটাক খেলা যায় টুকটাক আর কি অতটা এক্সট্রিম লেভেলের গেমিং করতে পারবা না তারপর বাজেট বিবেচনায় ঠিক আছে বাজেট বিবেচনায় তোমরা যদি গেমিং এর জন্য চাও তাহলে আইকিউর ফোনই কিন্তু সেরা লাগে আর কি Iqoo Z10 এক্সট্রা আর কি 20000 অ্যারাউন্ড 20000 22000 এর মধ্যে তোমরা এই সেম প্রসেসরটাই পেয়ে যাবা যদিও ক্যামেরা অতটা ভালো পাবো না তারপর লুকের দিক দিয়ে দারুণ আছে ইনফিনিক্সের অ্যাড দিতে আসবে ভাই 4 মিনিট পর আমাদের নেক্সট ম্যাচ শুরু হবে গাইস মিনিট পর আমাদের নেক্সট ম্যাচ শুরু হবে 4 মিনিট কি করা যায় গাইস কিছু বলো তোমরা কমেন্ট বক্স ফাটাও না কেন রে ভাই কমেন্ট বক্স ফাটাই দাও কিছু বইলে টইলা ভাই এইসব অ্যাড দেখতে কি ভালো লাগে অ্যাড দেবে সার্ফ এক্সেলের অ্যাড হবে তারপর হবে হারপেকের অ্যাড আমাদের কি বলবো ভাই টিফিন কি অল টাইম খাইতাম না একবার নাকি জানো ভাই খেয়াল নাই ওইসবের অ্যাড হইলে ভালো লাগতো এইসব কি অ্যাড স্যাড দেয় শীত কিন্তু গাইজ ভালোই বড় দিছে গলা টলা অলরেডি বসে গেছে
And welcome back to the stage.
ওকে আবার ম্যাচ শুরু হয়ে গেছে আমাদের
At PMGC, waiting for the final game to start. We have some technical issues on our side, which are being fixed as fast as we possibly can get them fixed. We'll be waiting just a short time longer. I think John's still here. I believe.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. I'm all here.
Yeah. He's all here. Absolutely. He's still chilling. Yeah, I'm feeling like Scarface too right now.
Yeah.
I'm not actually sat like that. This is a posture check time at Russell.
Hydration and posture check before the last match of the game. It's always important when you go to the desert, staying hydrated. Trying to get away from heat. Important. Go for 7. Sorry, no, that's pro. The orange came in. No, maybe I'm not all here. Goodness me. Yeah, Virtus Pro definitely high up for 7, and definitely currently kind of neck and neck with these two teams in terms of their performance today. I mean, the early Alpha 7 today, maybe not.
Yeah, there's honestly today Virtus Pro's been playing fairly well. I think there's been moments where I have been slightly questioning some of Virtus Pro's positioning. I think that there's more times where I'll see Virtus Pro make a rotate, and although it's fairly decent, some of the execution at times is slightly lacking. I think when you watch a team like Alpha 7, when they have a plan in mind, they're able to usually execute on it fairly well. I think Virtus Pro, despite them being so damn good mechanically, there is times where I'm somewhat unimpressed by positioning. I think that's the best way I can put it. And it's difficult for me to talk like this because it's like, well, Virtus Pro is doing very well. Did very well in their region as well. So I think it's more a case that I'm just expecting more for them. I haven't quite seen that yet.
It's not been as loud as other teams, no. But there are those little glimmers every now and again.
এই হচ্ছে কিন্তু আমাদের ইন্ডিয়ান টিম ওজি
Yeah, they've been consistent, which is
ওজির জার্সিটা সুন্দর লাগতেছে ভাই ইন্ডিয়ান ম্যাপের সাথে ম্যাচ করে বানানো হয়েছে আমাদের বাংলাদেশি দলগুলো যখন খেলবে ওদের জার্সিও যেন এমন হোক যেন বাংলাদেশকে একটু বাংলাদেশি পতাকাটা থাকুক আর কি আর অনেক ক্ষেত্রেই দেখি সেটা হয় না প্যারা নাই গাইস ম্যাচ কিন্তু এখন স্টার্ট হয়ে যাবে আমাদের ম্যাচ নাম্বার 6 লাস্ট ম্যাচ আজকের দিনের মিরামারে হবে মিরামার
Indeed, it will once more into the desert for the end of the day. Match number 6 of the Gauntlet stage. We're heading in our plane on the south side over towards Valparaiso. Let's see where our teams get stuck in. Are they going to be able to make it all the way? Are they going to get a vehicle wedged on a tiny little box and be able to find a little cubby hole in the final circles? Well, only time will tell. Let's see what's in store.
It's a very southern-leaning play map here. Kind of difficult to work with, especially around Chumacera. I mean, a lot of teams are going to want to send north off the back of this one. Montinueva, El Porto, La Cobreria. I don't think we'll see any teams picking up Ruins. This is a pretty trash draw. Virtus Pro will head down towards Valle de Mar. And maybe it would be just our first split. We'll see. But Puerto Paradiso is where this playing path will end. This is actually one of the hardest playing paths to deal with in the entirety of Miramar. If it goes it's even further south than this, it's just hell to play around because you have to cover so much space over towards the north side that a lot of times you're struggling for vehicles where those spawns, those drops are taken by other teams. Suddenly your initial rotation is kind of blended up a little bit.
It's not as easy to get caught up in the thrill of it all. That Impala drop's looking a bit dangerous though. I think Tulika might think better of it. Go back with the rest of your team, mate. You've got Puerto Paraíso to go to. But no, he wants to get stuck in. In the meantime, Orangutan scrapping it out over in Chumacera at the moment. They found Reefus. I think that's the only player in that location as well. Going to be difficult to get this one back up.
আচ্ছা ওজির নামের আগে আইকিউ লাগানো মানে তারা পার্ট কোলাবোরেশন বলে যা বলি আর কি স্পন্সরশিপ পুরা ভালোভাবে নিভাইতেছে নামের আগে আইকিউ লিখে রাখছে
Nice clean round number, and that's where we said we wanted to see teams at the end of a single day, right, over that 40-point threshold to look safer to going towards that 7th place.
Yeah, Thunder Talk's in a really good position right now at 57. OG just breaking that barrier at 40 is perfect for them going into tomorrow. They just need to keep up this kind of pace. I think for OG, coming into the first day, getting 40 points is a really, really big deal, especially for India in general, because typically what has happened a lot of times is that when we've seen India in international tournaments, a lot of times they play catch-up second day, just because they haven't had enough international experience by that point. So OG actually picking up 40 points here is a massive change within the scene for them and will be very beneficial for them going into tomorrow. Our rate similarly at 55 points. I don't think many teams saw that one coming, but that's extremely potent. If Mambols can get another strong Miramar finish now, it's almost settled that they'll pick up that top 7.
Yeah, it's got to be fairly. We're looking more and more likely as time goes on. We'll go that way, as we said, towards the middle of the day somewhere. Can't remember exactly where. I'm expecting that bubble on 7th place to be around 110 points. Could be a little bit more, a little bit less. So getting up to 40 points will give you 120 points on average, and that's when you're going to start to see yourself nice and safe. So the further you go over that metric, the better. But at the moment, Alpha Gaming, they want to get off of last place, I think is really the name of the game for them right now, because it is not where they want to be. You're losing a player early. Now you start that one out. Bad Bears, Alpha Gaming.
It's so hard to talk about this team in general, just because they change so often. I mean, overall, today's gameplay has been pretty poor. Let's be honest, right? I think everyone can agree that Alpha Gaming hasn't played fantastically well. And I think that it's a sad, what can I say, very nice shot. What the? Okay. With the scar as well, I mean, really impressive. Actually insanely impressive at that distance. I think everyone can agree today that Alpha Gaming's not been playing very well, but they chop and they change so frequently in terms of their performance metrics that it's very hard to talk about them in a bad light without going tomorrow and then a lot of Mongolian fans getting angry with me because suddenly they have 80 points. Because that could easily happen.
Yeah, that's true. For the moment, they're definitely not getting any points. They're down to 2 players now, Top and Ziol, isolated from one another. And it looks like OG are sort of aware of where these players start and where they drop. Spot Ziol on the red line. Bliss gone, he doesn't want to take that fight. The rest of his team's got it under control. Tanky, not so strong this time on the flex. Ziol may actually get a push there. He's actually going to be able to pick up a push because of it. This is going to be a get out of jail card for him. Bliss gone decided just not to take the fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's an annoying maneuver for OG with that. I think you have to assume that he's going to take the vehicle though once it lobs down the hill. I don't think he's going to take another fight, so I think for OG the mistake there is just not pushing harder as soon as they lose the first player. Again, if you're down to 3, they want to be careful. They don't know where the off angle is as well. You're just a little bit more patient with it. If you're happy to play on with 3, give up the 1 elimination. That's fine. But I think OG can just continue on here. It's a little bit frustrating losing that buggy though.
Not an ideal turnaround for it. We have, I believe we have an interview coming up soon, which would be nice to hear from 7WG down on the stage. The guy has all the best info. I'm going to guess it's with the Mad Bulls. We'll see if I'm right as we head over to 7WG. Spot.
Welcome back to a quick review with the 7WG. Mad Bulls, Tulica nonetheless. Great back-to-back performances. Second place finish and then a first place finish. How are you guys feeling?
Отличная битва. На четвертой карте второе место, на пятой карте первое место. Как ты себя чувствуешь? Как команда вообще чувствует?
Отлично. Приятно играть в глобальные турниры, когда у тебя хорошая команда.
Very good when you have nicely teammates. Very good when you have nicely teammates to play global tournaments.
That's great to hear. Now, with this momentum, what are you looking to do here in this last match?
Сейчас какие планы на последний матч, шестой последний матч игрового дня?
Каждую игру мы стараемся забирать топ-1, каждую игру играть как последнюю.
So every match they'll try to get, play for win. So 6 match plan is also play to win.
All right, I like that. I like that confidence. Thank you so much, brother. Back to you.
Hey, that's one of those, yeah, we're going to play well answers. So there you go, from Mad Bulls.
Gonna give a 100%, 100%.
Gary, deha kichone.
Yeah, just lock it down, lock it down. Pretty good teammates. Gonna try pretty hard. That's what we're talking about. Again, is the difference between OG's interview with AKOP and that interview with Tulica, which is it's a generalization game. You know, I much prefer to hear the real thoughts. But I suppose, you know, being able to play with your friends on a massive international scale is probably quite fun.
Degba like Degba.
Down too. Yeah. Entirely. Yeah, they really were out for blood there. Chumacera is being claimed by OG right now. Seems fairly successfully. And it looks kind of like Alpha Gaming having a real tough time on like all of their drop spots on Erangel in military base, getting contested, although they did push GS away from that one. But this time around, it's gone pretty poorly for them on Chumacera. And we'll see if OG can make it into the next circle.
I actually, it's the first time it might be a case of like, I think that Alpha Gaming just might not make it through the gauntlet stage, and they'll be forced to play out the rest of the tournament. Just because I'm not feeling it right now. I really am not feeling it. And I think that tomorrow there's potential at like a 22-point game for them. But even then, it's not enough. Sitting the team down from Regdom Carrier. What a play that was. The 180 flick. Dear me.
My man with the pump action doing so much on the inside, and now Loxy has to turn around or run away. Tail between the legs. Rectum Kaya said dizzy by the pump action. How, that is crazy. That's a bit of mistiming from Rectum Kaya, it has to be said though. Allowing that to happen, you need to step in at the same time, take those angles together.
Incredible stuff. Made a quick fling in the concrete, smooth sighting. Went poorly. No second date for Regnum Kaya, that's for sure. Alpha 7 now looking towards ESR. I mean, DBS.
Okay, guys.
He's consistently getting nerfed, but still seems to be able to one-shot people at mid to close range. So, PUBG Mobile team, let's take a look at that one again, please.
His DBS doesn't work like mine, I swear. Mine's completely different. They nerfed mine, they haven't nerfed his. It's insane.
Yeah, your DBS so small. His DBS so big.
So big, man. Like, I just can't handle it. Gonna be holding on to those concretes on the inside. Having a good time of things now. With Rekakar, you've got sent to the wind. backed off. A 19-point day for Regnum Kaya, looking closer and closer now. And again, it's a similar story to Alpha Gaming, who are currently not in last place. The tiebreaker somehow won by Alpha Gaming. What can Ulf do?
Yeah, well, I mean, 25 points, it's not a bad finish of the day, and especially for North America. All right, you know, Hot Jukes was joking. I actually don't know if he was joking at the start of the day about Wolves, so being his #1 pick, but I think this is a significant improvement for North America.
Yet not last place.
Yeah. Last place. Did they lose a point?
No, they're both on 12 points.
Yeah, I know, but I swear that Ulf was above APG just a second.
Yeah, but look, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's got like a
sounds familiar. I mean, Ulf, yeah, so Ulf had 11 elims and 1 placement, which is why they're losing the tiebreaker right now. But if they get 1 more point, they just win it again. APG got 1 point now, they're fine. In the meantime, GS and DRX up on the Ridge side. DRX having a tough time of things, but it's definitely going to be able to be. It's resable. It's super resable here. Virtus.pro get the point though, which isn't great for DRX. They're not happy about that one, but they're happy that they can survive for a moment longer. ESO though wants to change that. Is the DBS going to find the range? Not quite chewing through him as he wants it to. As 4 players roll around the Ridge, and they are going to take him down. ESO not so lucky there.
I mean, great. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm glad to see the DBS not come through once again. No, it was so good before, but you know that is the problem with the DBS at the moment. It's a little bit inconsistent. Much like DRX right now, as Virtus.pro continue to bully this team. Starting to flow with towards the top side. Voston finding 1. Milky Way is down, but Aragon, Malloy, and Moston are still up and available. And could look to clean out this. Jafar is just spraying. He is just spraying and praying, and it's working.
I mean, fair enough. He does get taken down by Voston from Virtus.pro, who are moving out now of Tierra Bronca on the northeast side. They'll move up to this ridgeline. Not too much in the way of obstacles for them for the next step, but DXavier are just further on down that road, closer to the center of the circle. And we know that Virtus.pro can do some pretty crazy things on the rotates. We'll see what they're getting up to in the future. OG, being very careful on these tunes, on these defilades. Wanted to get out of the blue zone, playing on the northwest side. They are playing as 3, though, so a bit diminished in terms of firepower this time around. They've got 4 elims already, though, so not the end of the world. We saw the taxi delivery from Atanki over the top. A little bit too overzealous. It felt like Wizgod just didn't take any shots. That wasn't best communicated to the rest of the team.
Yeah, I think it's one of those cases where Tanky went a little bit early, and then you have a case of the rest of the team not knowing where the off angle is in dock, so they just don't want to push it and rather just hold on to 3 players and just get more consistent points for the rest of the day, which I think is fair. I think that is fair. It would have been nicer if Tanky didn't take the buggy with him. That's for sure.
Yeah, that is kind of the big kicker, right? It's you take away one of your vehicles and you give it away to the enemy team, who you probably could have flushed. Maybe that's why they were on the hunt so vehemently to try and close that fight down. With Alpha 7 not making that 40-point mark on this day, with their game closing out on 38. That's not what they wanted to be, but it's still very solid. Oh, DXavier. They found a little caltrop in the middle there in the form of the remnants of Regnum Kaya, but they will stay alive. I don't think anyone's going to third-party this, so they'll be able to get the reses going. There are shots pinging out their way, but for now, it's fine.
Yeah, I think for Alpha 7, we also got to take into account that I think around 20-some points is from 1 match today. So although the scoreline doesn't look terrible being in 5th place right now, the consistency factor is not great. You know, that is the bad part of showing for Alpha 7. Virtus.pro, on the other hand, I think they've been able to get their points like consistently throughout the day. They have been not major points, but there's still been consistent points. Xavier, similarly, they're going to pull the same old here. And it is nice that we get to talk about Xavier in a central position here on Miramar, because I think that Miramar is probably Xavier's favorite map. And it is because there is so much more space, so much more room to rotate through, that a lot of times you can make these crazy rotates direct center and get away with it because there's just no sightlines looking at you because the map is just that much bigger. So for Xavier, I'm hoping to see a strong game here from them, because especially in open zones as well, Xavier favors those types of maps too.
I don't think you can rely on Miramar, though. I don't think you can't rely on one specific map in that way, not in these shorter sets of tournaments. I mean, 18 matches, it does start to get towards average performance stages on 18 matches, but when you're looking, especially towards the last chance, especially towards the very, very quick stages that could really get away from you, it starts to get difficult, man. Like, you just don't have as much opportunity to play consistently. You do need those big games wherever you can take them, so
I do
relying
think
on single maps is not viable.
Yeah, I do think that it's not such a bad thing, though, because I think that teams that are good at Miramar are few and far between, whereas teams that are good at Erangel are like a dime a dozen, right? So I think if you're quite good at Miramar and are able to recreate that frequently, that's okay. That's going to get you a lot of points, because it's going to be... the amount of teams that win like 3 times in a row on Erangel, it doesn't happen very often. The amount of teams that get top 3 times in a row on Erangel, that doesn't happen very often as well, because it's constantly changing. You might have a team that's slightly more consistent than the other, but if we're able to get like top 3 twice a day on Miramar, fair enough. I mean, that's decent points for you.
Yeah, I think especially when if you're talking about beating bubbles, right? That's where I think that's definitely very impactful, right? Where you're talking about, as you say, getting top 3 in 2 Miramars a day. That may be enough to just get you to 7th place, kind of off the back of whatever you can get from the rest of the matches, even if you're sort of an average performer there. So yeah, absolutely. I think when it comes to talking about a top team, though, it is a big worry if you can't perform at that same level on all of your maps, because if you want to be a world champion, you do need to have that sort of credential in your back pocket. It's not about getting 7th, getting 4th anymore. It's about getting 1st.
I mean, you say that, but Alpha 7 kind of won Pmgc purely off Miramar.
That's one too.
Okay, well, there's always exceptions. If you're getting 30 points every Miramar, sure. Arena,
they were getting 30 points, but yeah, anyway, we'll carry on. We'll have a discussion of another day.
If you get 45 points in Miramar, then sure. Thunder Talk making it real difficult for Arena right now. They are down to 1. Maybe able to get a res back up to 2. R8 suffering as well as the Mad Bulls. 1 more. R8, they started very strong, and now they have that 1st place taken from them. That 2nd place now as well, and it looks like they're not going to have too much longer to defend that 3rd place either. Because OG, you know that they're going to want to try and chase that down. A bit of a gap there, but Tulika wants to star points back into the back of the buggy. Not going to find it though. Mori gets out of there for R8. Last player to stand.
Mori dipped up into the distance. I don't want to play with this one too much longer. We're already down to 10 teams, 34 players as well, surprisingly. This is quite a quick game, 20 minutes though on the clock, and with such a open field around us, yeah, it sort of makes sense that we are going to have a pretty rough end game for a lot of teams. Amori spots over towards Tulika, who's currently using the buggy to get some high ground performance. Wolves getting ripped to pieces. Sorry, Xavier getting ripped to pieces by Scarface alongside with Ketch. Xavier down to the 3. Oh my god. Like they sent in the porcupine, they were just getting shredded.
I mean, Wolf still have 2 players as well. They didn't send the backlines in. The first wave did damage. There's an opening there, but the healing's going to be coming through. I don't think Ulf are going to move, though. Kara, in a similar position on that western side, have got 4 players.
Stop this.
I mean, he's got literally no tyres on the buggy. He's drifting like an ice skate.
I don't know what. Yeah, just shoot the grenade out of the air. That's how you do it.
He's got no meds.
Yeah, I really wasn't entirely sure what the plan was there. Like, make the most noise possible in the slowest vehicle available. Is that what we were trying to accomplish there? Interesting. Thunder Talk, with one of the few compounds available, Wolves could head down towards the northern compound there, and you can sort of play out this game in tandem between Thunder Talk and Wolves. They don't really have to fight one another. You could. I think this is one of the few situations I don't see players in PUBG Mobile do this enough, is that you can play this position as basically neighbours, and you help each other until the end, and then you guaranteed second.
I mean, that might be enough for this stage, certainly. PK taking shots out towards the forward point of Virtus Pro. As they are 2 and 2 right now. Or actually, no, hang on a minute. Are they? Yeah, they're just 1 and 2. But as Malloy is on his lonesome out there, does have that foothold though, closer to the circle than either of these two other teams. And one of them is going to have to move first. We'll see who it is. Mad Balls might actually try and backfill this. We've seen crazy things today. That's a big opener as Aragorn taken down very, very low, but survives. Ragdoll trying to break forwards. I wonder if Malloy's going to be able to stop this one from doing too much damage. It's going to be Boston though. Ever on the swivel, doing work, doing bits for him. Zed, next up on the road to go down, and that will be Malloy to take that one. Iqoo sending out 1 by 1. It is not ideal. Certainly not the best way to do things.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Aragon still taking shots over the top here. Virtus Pro, again, quite a messy team, but there is a method to the madness with VP. And that is undeniable at this point.
Kara slicing through OG on the western side. To little to no resistance. And Kara happy to have the points from the bottom of the tables.
They'll do the trick for now. I mean, definitely need to get more points on the board, but I think if you're able to get like 20, 25 points, you're at least able to have tomorrow. Like, there's potential to bring that scoreline back up. Because although I say for Mad Balls, you're able to end the day with 70 points, all but settled, there is that outside chance that and the day after, Mad Balls get 0 points both days. So what it can do now, regardless of what position you're in, is only going to give you a little bit more for the next few days. So if this is hurrah for today for Kara, you know, you could even set yourself up with 30 plus points if you're able to get a chicken dinner here.
Ball from Kara's position as well. It's going to be difficult though. Red Talk, who at the top of the tables, they've already got 6 elites, 4 players, all alive, max HP. I mean, that's going to be a difficult challenge to take them down. The question is, will Thunder Talk have to leave? Because Kara have got the outside track, right? They've got that outside ground covered. The ridge lines that they hold, really nice for the run-out cover. You can see they have some man talk with that terrain to play around, and vehicles, as far as they may be, to muck around with. Ulf, I think, taking shots up to the north, though. That's going to make it trickier, but Ulf have to move with that circle pop.
Oh, there you go. See, Koos is playing the building on the north side. It's like he was listening to the stream or something. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good spot to play, and then they're going to hold down towards VP, and anyone wants to rotate up towards the north. Yeah, I think they're going to regroup back on Koos now, though, which is the smart decision. Leave 2 players down below. Just take shots at Virtus Pro as they attempt to leave, but you're accelerating the game now massively with this circle shift. Towards the dead center of this circle is just this small hilltop you can see right here in front of the Mad Balls, which is very, very difficult to play around, but you can at least isolate some fights in terms of the sidelines. That's as best as it's going to give you, but it's still, again, it's going to be pretty open pitch warfare.
At the moment, I'm looking at where that 7th place is going to end up blank. And Virtus Pro, they're already, I believe, going to be jumping up to at least level with Alpha 7 on a tiebreaker with the placement point they have yet to technically earn on this match, despite being guaranteed at least 1. If they can survive a little bit longer, that could go up to 2. Grab an Elim, maybe. That's what they're looking for, and get over Alpha 7. DXavier, actually, in with a decent shout of getting quite far into this one, even if it's a tough time. Aaron for Ulf, last to stand, drops the smoke, but no more Mad Bulls to actually worry about on the run out. The blue zone, though, that's a bit more of a worry. See the damage it's doing, goodness me. Tonight actually coming from Virtus Pro, over towards Mad Bulls. They may be able to pick up that point here and now.
Okay. See what they get done off the back of VP's push out, but it's pretty good. Takes down Flip at least. But Wolves are still getting more points off the back of this one, and teams are parting ways with their players. Left, right, and center. That's a nice nade. Little bit short on the pitch.
Does get spotted. Not too sure who that's from, but I think it's the Wolves. There we go. Virtus Pro, you can see they will get locked in at 39 points now. Half for 7 now. Potentially at risk of dropping out, but very unlikely here. Unless, well, Wolves jump up nice and high, but it will be around that 40-point boundary today. To be 7th place. DXavier with the 1 elim. They've been quiet in the shack for a while now, but they're going to need to do more to hold off Kara on the western side.
DXavier still sat strong with inside the shack. And again, you know, getting themselves a nice shot from Parajan. I mean, that is a very, very difficult angle to make work, but that's going to delay in a nasty way as well, John.
Definitely difficult terrain to be moving through now. Kara, CEO, looking to heal before the move. They don't have a lot of time because the zone's going to start to close in 3 seconds. Poser's ankles have been spotted. He's dodging out the way and he's sprayed out. They aren't quite connected with it in any sense. When they go out wide, a lot of ammo already expended on the spray down towards the player behind the buggy, and they're up close. They haven't been knocked yet, but there's still time. Levi's down first, but there's the trade from Natey. 1 for 1 as the Wolves move in as well. Marceau moving into the high ground on the off angle. Just Paragin on the inside, but the burn is on. It's Coops to do the damage, though, as the Wolves claim the lion's share of the points here.
Wolves just getting a lot done off the back of this, but Kara, 7 elims on the game, up towards a top 3. That is a really big result for them. Not quite the chicken dinner that maybe they were hoping for, but it's still very, very good. Thunder Talk looking for the second chicken dinner of the day. The Chinese team who came in today looking fantastically strong with some very good coordination, now looking to drop down a shower of thunder upon the Wolves.
And we'll see if they can convert. Really solidify themselves at the top of the tables. The Mad Bulls wanting to get pushed aside here with Thunder Talk already claiming enough points to surpass them. How much further can they go to lock in their top spot? Kara as well looking to finish their day on a high after a lack of point scoring so far. They'll want a little bit more. And the Wolves, they've been fairly middling today. An entrant from every angle of the tables to close us down.
They know it towards the walls now. Kara off in the distance, still attempting to lay down a curtain of smoke. Keep them sails safe in between. You can see here so much utility being expended, but most teams now lacking on those smoke canisters. Kara taking damage. CEO last left alive. A little bit of damage done, but Wolves now stay alive with all 4 players. Nasty nade on the outbreak from Thunder Talk. Coops goes down, and now a 4v2.
A reality check from the top of the hill as Thunder Talk able to find 2 almost immediately. Sighting now in the smoke, running around. Here's Higgles on the off angle, looks to give them a good fight, but no, Thunder Talk too much as the Wolves fall at the final hurdle. They can't keep it going, and it will be another chicken dinner found for the team from the PEL.
Thunder Talk, just an incredible team today. And I mean, that started off with sightings 180 on the Pompey. Extremely fun stuff. And I mean, holding the heart just a little bit there because it did get hectic towards the end. It's going to get a little bit more hectic with some interviews later in terms of what went down today. But before then, we're going to head to a quick break and we'll be back shortly.
bersama Islami Pakistan. ওকে গাইস, আমাদের তো ফাইনাল মানে আজকের বেসিক্সের লাস্ট ম্যাচ হয়ে গেছে। দেখতে পাচ্ছ তো ফাইনাল ব্লো দেখা যেতেছে সিটি এর কাছে ম্যাচটা গেছে।
And there you go, the final blow. The Thunder Talk were able to stand tall at the end of the day. A nice even distribution on the damage, on the damage dealing across the board, on the elims as well. A really solid performance from Thunder Talk. Not the loudest, but certainly the most impactful today.
Getting towards that position on the map is very, very good overall. I mean, being on the low ground as well is even better. Gives you a lot of freedom to roam, and by the time they needed to come out, they had a lot of control over the map. And I think that's the thing, is that they didn't decide to stay inside that building for too long. They actually proactively removed themselves from there and started to push down towards the other teams a little bit earlier than I think most teams would do. And that gave them a lot of advantage over both Wolves as well as Kara, because by the time Kara's fight wrapped up between them and Wolves, all the high ground was available to the guys on Thunder Talks. And I do think that nade over towards Doran was the thing that just dropped off the entirety of that fight for the Wolves. If that doesn't hit, maybe it's a little bit more of an even combat. Yes, they have the high ground, but still really, really crazy nade over towards Doran. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that last game, John.
Yeah, it was certainly pretty flashy on some fronts there. Obviously, with the Wolves doing a lot during that game. Started off well for OG. They were able to get a lot of points extracted out of APG. And their day-to-day for OG has been a really remarkable one, I think. Maybe I'd say it's definitely not what we expected. Coming into this tournament, considering that the Indian region in general has not really seen the global stage in a very long time. This way, Pmgc didn't go particularly well for them. The fact that they've come up here and they've done really, really well, getting over 40 points in their first day, is going to be a massive confidence boost, not only to OG, but for the fans at home, through the region in general. I'm hoping we'll see more from them. Unless they're being nasty, then they can go away.
The Indian squad, because not being able to play with a lot of these international teams doesn't give you that experience. But the fact that they come into this one and it looks like they've really done their homework, that's impressive to me. And I have a lot of respect for that. If they're another region that doesn't get a huge amount of this international experience and they play on a slightly different realm, right? To come into this international tournament and still do extremely well is very, very, very good on the first day. And from there, you can only develop on that, which is so cool.
I'll tell you what else is really cool. I'm liking these graphics, right? This new
ওজির
edition.
পক্ষ থেকে আজকে আমরা চিকেন ডিনার দেখি নাই, এখন আবার 2 দিন আছে। আই থিঙ্ক চিকেন ডিনার নিয়ে নেবে এবং তারা তো ফাইনালে ভাই জায়গা দখল করেই নেবে, পয়েন্টে আগাই আছে ভাই। পরে আর একদিন ভালো করলেই হয়ে যাবে, প্যারা নাই।
Towards the circles towards the end. I mean, all coming in from the west is interesting, but we had all of our teams rotating in on that west side.
ভালো টিম ভাই।
Yeah, I think that it's one of the things where you don't really want to come up through Al Azhar anyway, because if you see here on the northwest side, that's where the majority of the cover is. You're coming through Al Azhar, you're going to push through roads.
এখানে ট্রাভেল ডিসটেন্স আমাদের টিটিএর কম, কিন্তু তাদের এলিমিনেশন
down towards the south side, and that's where Virtus Pro set themselves up to go to. That doesn't work out. It goes over to the northwest. So you can clearly see like where things go wrong for teams and what decisions causes those things to go wrong. Again, there's that neighborly play style I talked about earlier. Wolves have to be the first to leave because Thunder close to the circle, and then they move out just as that fight takes place. So it was overall a very, very cool end game, and ends just usually how it does with that particular circle. I think we've seen that circle multiple times, and it's always the same ending, no matter what.
It's always nice to try and extract as many points, but generally tends to go the same way. 20 points total for Thunder Talk there at the top of the tables, with 10 elims found on the chicken dinner. Really they're very close to that bubble already, Blank. I think that tomorrow's games should see them nice and safe. Some solid performances from other teams too.
Korean team was
Regnum Kaya, Alpha 7. I think Regnum Kaya more than Alpha 7 here really to set things up. Same with Alpha Gaming. I think a lot of people are disappointed in Alpha Gaming's performance, as with Regnum Kaya. I think Korean fans will be also pretty upset with DRX's performance.
I think that they're a really, really strong team, but they have not been showing up here whatsoever here in the Gauntlet. It is something to remember, though, is that the Gauntlet is exclusive to our most elite teams throughout the year, and I think that does need to be stressed, because you're almost looking at like almost a PMGC Grand Final lineup right now, right here in the Gauntlet. Because even if these teams don't make it through, they'll still be playing out the rest of the tournament to try and make it back into the grand final. So let's say we ended it here, these 7 teams all made it in. You might see some of these teams face back up against our top 7 spots here at the top. So again, it's interesting the way this works, because we'll go back over towards groups where things might be a little bit less intense. But right now, we're starting with a very, very intense portion of the tournament into a little bit more relaxed, then back into that intensity with the grand final right at the end there, John.
I mean, I'm going to give you a little bit of a hot take here, Blank. So here in this stage of the tournament is where you can be a 5th place team and make it to the grand finals, right? If you go to the group stages, if you then go to the last chance, you're not getting in that way. If you're a 5th place team, like generally you earn 5th place because of, whatever reason, you do need to be getting through in this gauntlet. So I think for the teams around that bubble, it's actually more important for them than the teams that, have really terrible days. So like an Alpha Gaming, for instance, if they continue to play as blandly as they have today, then I still have some confidence that they can just go, oh no, we're really good, and be incredible again. But if you're looking at the middle of the tables, and I'm talking about maybe like Wolves, for instance, it's really important for them to qualify here and now. Otherwise, they may not get another opportunity.
Yeah, for sure, and I totally understand that. I think this is if there was a time to qualify, it's right now in the Gauntlet. It is such a fantastic opportunity for a lot of teams. But I think you're right with some of our teams towards the bottom of the tables as well. If they don't perform and they continue to not perform, and then we see them drop down time and time again, they go to last chance, it's likely they just don't make it through the last chance. But there are some teams like Regnum Kaya, like Alpha 7, like Alpha Gaming, where, you can sort of excuse them on the fact that they might go to group stage and they're just absolutely dominating their group. Like that's certainly a possibility.
Definitely is. MVP for the day, of course. It's exciting for Thunder Talk. We saw him do so much. Top elims, top damage, very nearly the top survival time. I'd be interested to see who was top survival time. It may well be another Thunder Talk player. But fantastic stuff coming on through for the representatives from the PEL. They have incredible performance so far today. It is a question of perseverance. How much more can they put up, and how much more do they need to put up? Well, I'm not entirely sure. But we're going to head to an interview down on the stage. We'll see you guys later.
It's been such a long time since I've been able to say this. I have esports, Dorian. I mean, what a great way to finish. You guys did start off a little bit slow. What's the biggest struggle in day one?
I think our biggest struggle was like we didn't know how the teams are playing. We didn't know the lobby, but from tomorrow we'll adjust that and play our game.
Which team was the biggest surprise out of day one?
I think the biggest surprise of the day one was like TT, the way they are playing together, taking the zones, and they are always in the end game.
All right. Well, I mean, you guys were able to finish strong, as I said earlier. What have you been able to learn just throughout the day that you need to adjust going into day two?
I think what we need to learn and do tomorrow is like be more aggressive when we have opportunities in the games.
I mean, you guys were able to do that. You were able to jump up all the way from 9th place to 5th place. I'm excited to see what you guys are going to be able to do in the second day of the gauntlet.
Doing a great job. End up in the top 5 in that fifth mark. Very happy with them. Top 7 is the goal for all these squads, guys. And I'll see day to day. I mean, I'm going to agree with Dora there. Thunder Talk. Dinners, Neptura. I know these guys got.
Oh, absolutely. So are everybody who has been a fan of supporting them today, because going into it historically, when they do very, very well, right, in their region, then they come to global, not so hot sometimes. But this is a completely different TT to who we're used to seeing, and it's so nice to see. I think we've got to a point where in some ways, like we said earlier, are more of the team that everybody relies on to do well. And TT are coming back and going, hey, actually, no, we are back. We don't want to keep losing. We don't want to keep, falling down. We're not doing some win day. And it's really, really nice to see them doing that.
Yeah, I mean, the era of China was over after the back-to-back Pmgc wins from Nova, but no, it's slowly coming back to that point, right? And now with Thunder Talk, so they've been doing absolutely amazing today. We'll have to see on the leaderboards, of course, how high they are, but I believe currently they are sitting pretty in that number 1 spot. Followed up by Mad Neptura, a big...
এখানে কিন্তু তাদের ফেসটা দেখাতে পারতে পারি, মানে ফেস ক্যামটা করতে পারতে, কিন্তু ফেস ক্যামটা শুধু তো একটা পিকচার দিয়ে দেওয়া হয়েছে। পিএমজিসির ক্ষেত্রে এটা আসলে মানাইতে আছে না, তারপর মেইন যেটা ম্যাচ এখন শুরু হয় নাই, মাইনে রাতে হবে আর কি। আজকে ম্যাচ যত গাইস শেষ হয়ে গেছে, হ্যাশট্যাগ করে আছে আমাদের ইন্ডিয়ান টিম হচ্ছে। তারা কোনো কামব্যাক সামনে দিতে পারবে কিনা, যেহেতু চিকেন ডিনার নাই আর কি, এমনি তো তারা লিডার বোর্ডে ভালো পজিশনে আছে, এখন শুধু চিকেন ডিনারটাই আর কি। আচ্ছা, তো আজকের দিন এখানেই শেষ হয়ে যাইতেছে গাইস। আজকে হোল ডে হাইলাইটসটা দেখা যাইতেছে, যদিও আমরা শুরু থেকে থাকতে পারি না আর কি। দাঁড়াও সাউন্ডটা কমাই দিই। যদিও আমরা শুরু থেকে থাকতে পারি নাই, কিন্তু ম্যাচ নাম্বার 5 থেকে ছিলাম। তো গাইস ভালোই লাগলো, 2টা ম্যাচ দেখে। আমাদের ওটি ভালোই খেলতে, ম্যাচ নাম্বার 5-এ দেখলাম তারা ভালোই ছিল, টপ 4 টিমের ভিতরে ছিল এলিমিনেশন দিকটা। আর ম্যাচ 6 নাম্বারে তারা ভালো করে নাই, হ্যাশট্যাগ 80 এলিমিনেশন হয়ে গেছে, এলিমিনেট হয়ে গেছে আর কি। তারা পারে নাই, টোটাল লিটার বোর্ডে তারা হ্যাশট্যাগ 4-এ আছে এখনো। পরের বাকি যে দিন আছে ওই দিনে ভালো খেললেই তারা প্রথমে মানে ফার্স্টবারই একবারে চান্স পেয়ে যেতে পারে আমাদের ফাইনালে। আর না হলে তো তাদের আবার গ্রুপ স্টেজ আলাদা করে খেলা লাগবে, এটা আবার আলাদা একটা প্যারা দিবে তাদের জন্য। তারপরও প্যারা দেখা যাবে, তোমাদের জন্য তো শান্তি, অডিয়েন্সরা তো খেলা দেখবে এবং উৎসাহ নেবে। তো তোমাদের কাছে আজকের লাইভ স্ট্রিম কেমন লাগছে অবশ্যই কমেন্টে জানিয়ে দিও। আজকে আমি তেমন একটা কথাবার্তা বলতে পারি নাই, নেক্সট দিতে আমরা ভালোভাবে কথাবার্তা বলবো, ম্যাচগুলো অ্যানালাইসিস করব। তো সবাই সেই পর্যন্ত ভালো থেকো, সুস্থ থেকো, সবাইকে বাই। লাইভ স্ট্রিম অফ করে দিলাম গাইস, ভালো থেকো কিন্তু তোমরা। আর জানাইও যে কোন টিমের খেলা আজকে ভালো লাগবে। লাইভ শেষ হওয়ার পর লাইভে কমেন্ট বক্স নাই যে কোন টিমের খেলা ভালো লাগে। অধিবেশ ছিল না আমাদের কোরিয়ান, তোমরা তো অনেক কোরিয়ান অডিয়েন্সও আছে, দেখা যায় থাকে তোমরা, তো কোরিয়ান টিম ভালো লাগছে ভাই, কোরিয়ান মেয়েদের অনেক পছন্দ করো। প্যারানাই গাইস, 40 হাইলাইটসটা শেষ হলে আমরাও শেষ করে দেবো। ওকে, এখানে 40 হাইলাইটসে দেখতে পাচ্ছি ভাই অনেক কিছু দেখাচ্ছে ভাই, এত ফাইট হয়েছে, বাট আমরা শুধুমাত্র ম্যাচ 5 আর 6টাই দেখতে পাচ্ছি, তো এত ফাইটগুলো আমরা মিস করে গেছি ভাই। কত ফাইট হয়েছে রে ভাই, বহুত ফাইট হয়েছে। ওকে গাইজ, সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ, থ্যাঙ্কস ফর ওয়াচিং। আমরা আবার কিন্তু কালকে লাইভে আসলেও আসতে পারি, কালকে যেহেতু এখনো গ্রুপ এসে চলতে আছে আসলেও আসতে পারি, বাট ফাইনালের দিন কিন্তু আমরা থাকবো, আমাদের 14 তারিখ কিন্তু এটা ফাইনাল হবে পিএমজিসির। তো সেই পর্যন্ত সবাই সুস্থ থাকো, ভালো থাকো এবং পাবজি মোবাইল খেলতে চল, কারণ আমরাই শিখবো, আমরাই আগাবো, আমরাই জিতবো, নতুন কিছু পরবর্তীতে বাংলাদেশে যেন এই স্টেজে থাকতে পারি, সেই দুয়ারে আজকে লাইভ স্ট্রিম, নেক্সট লাইভ স্ট্রিম। সবাইকে বাই।